Google BigQuery is a powerful cloud-based database that supports modern visualization tools like Tableau. In this demonstration, we're going to log into the 300 million row GDELT database and paint a picture of global events. We will demonstrate the ability to quickly profile the data, slice and dice it in real time using filters to focus on data of interest, link views together in a dashboard, and sequence snapshot perspectives in a storyline. Let's start by clicking on the named Google BigQuery data source. We're now going to enter our credentials. Now that we've logged in, Tableau is going to introspect that database. It finds these projects. The project we want is not listed, so we're going to type the name and hit plus. And now choose the full data set. Let's take a look at events. How many rows are there in this data set? It says 305 million rows, and that includes how many articles? Over 2.5 billion articles. And we also have all these dimensions that describe each article. Let's get a sense of the distribution of articles over time. So I'm going to choose year. That doesn't look right, so let's go to Show Me and let it suggest other ways of looking at the data. How about that line chart? We can see here that the data starts in 1980, goes up to 2014, and because 2015 is a partial year, we're seeing fewer records there. There's this thing called month year. Let's take a look at that. It's not quite something we want to use. You can see here it's got a year and then a month string. Why don't we create a calculated field that will allow us to use a proper... So let's try date and then use the date function. We'll put a string around year. Let's do a little dash. Let's take the rightmost two characters in month year, and then we'll just say everything's on the first day of the month. Okay, let's take a look at that date field. Those are years, and how about we go down to month? This is 300 million rows, so we expect certain operations to take a little bit of time. I'm frankly incredibly impressed with the speed of this database. We've got something here called event root code. What if we color it by event root code? Okay, we can see that there are just more than 20 event root codes, but it's hard to determine what they are. I'm going to make that an area chart, and now let's decode that with a local Excel file. So we're just going to click here and choose Excel. Let's choose this codes database and choose event root codes. So now we have a name for every event root code. So what I can do is just drop event root code here on detail, and now the translation into color. Okay, much easier to see. I can see that appeal, assault, coerce are here, and there's actually quite a bit on consult. If we'd like to show just one event, we can simply click that and show quick filter. Now we can choose one or more to show individually. Alright, I like the way this came out. Why don't we call this Event Trends. I'm going to put it sideways. Awesome. Now let's take a look at these events geographically. So I'm going to click on Actor 1 country code. Actor 1 is the most prominent subject in the articles. I'm just going to click on that, and Tableau automatically knows how to map it. We can get a sense for the number of articles or the number of records. Simply take number of records. Let's encode that on size. Let's make that a little bit larger so we can see other countries. Now we've got something in the database here called the Goldstein scale. That's sentiment analysis. If I drop that on color, I can get a sense from negative to positive about what those articles contain. Now let's go ahead and march through these articles by year by placing date on the pages card. Now as we go through the years, we can see the circles show up. I think it would be more clear if we put a border around there, so let's choose border and keep going here. Now that's looking monochromatic. I bet the reason is because I used sum on Goldstein scale. We're really interested in the average article sentiment score, so let's change that to average. And now we're starting to see some negativity in the Middle East. 2007, 2008, 2009, in 2011 things go berserk. And that's really when we had the Arab Spring in 2011. So let's go ahead and build a dashboard that puts together these views. And then we'll drill down further into the Arab Spring. So I'm going to just go ahead and call this event map. And let's create a dashboard, and we'll just take that map and put it out here. We can go back to 2011, and then let's pull down those trends. Now because this monitor is a little tight, I'm going to go to page setup and set the layout to automatic. Okay, now I'm not scrolling. If I go ahead and click on these countries, you can see that nothing's changing below. But if I just say use as filter, okay, now I can see trends for the country in focus. Let's take a look at Egypt, for instance. Let's just see where protests were. Okay, so we can see that there's a huge spike in protests. Okay, we're going to just call that event dashboard. So let's take a closer look at those events in those Arab Spring countries around 2011. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this Actor 1 country code, but I don't want it mapped. I just want to see it here. And let's do a quick filter and choose 4 countries of real interest to us. So let's choose Egypt and also Libya, Tunisia, and Yemen. So we're going to choose date. I'm going to make that the month. And let's look at that discretely. Okay, so that's for every month. And now let's look at the number of articles. And let's show that visually. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, but we really want country code here. Okay. If we take a look here at towards 2011, we'll see things start to get more interesting. And let's color by Goldstein scale. And again, let's take a look at the average, which is what's really interesting to us. So if we just reorder these, we can see that there's some events here in Tunisia, January 2011, followed by Egypt, Libya, and Yemen, and we understand that's the progression in the Arab Spring. Now why don't we make these axes independent so we can see relative growth a little bigger because Egypt's a much bigger country. Let's go ahead and call this one Event Timeline. Now what if we wanted to tell a story about the Arab Spring? How would we do that? With Tableau, we can create a story by clicking here, New Story. We could call this Arab Spring Unfolds. This is just illustrative. We could take our event timeline and say focus only on Tunisia. We're just going to keep only Tunisia. And now we can take a look and focus in on 2011. Let's call this Arab Spring Starts in Tunisia. And we could even annotate here. Now we could create a new point to show how it spread. Well, thanks for watching this quick demo. We showed how you could profile data in Google BigQuery, how using Tableau we could quickly put together different views of the data, including a trends, maps, a dashboard with views linked together, a timeline, and a story with the ability to click through different annotated views. Thank you so much for your time.